Good morning. What an honor to be asked to speak and say a farewell, not a final farewell to Dr. Griffin. So we were asked to read a passage from our favorite children's book, and mine is Goodnight Moon. And the main character in this book is, I have props, the bunny. This was the thing in our home that we had to literally stop everything we were doing to find. You all had that for your kids, right? And this was not the bunny. My little man of not many words, this is the bunny. This is not the bunny, because his parents, with 11 years of education between them, thought we could fool him with not the bunny, but we couldn't. So it's a little hard to read a passage from this book because the entire book is a passage, but it's super applicable to today's. This book was written in 1942, by the way. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs and 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse and a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush and a quiet old lady who was whispering hush. That might have been me. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks and good night, socks. Good night, little house and good night, mouse. Good night, comb and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. We read this book for years, and the bunny gave our family and my son more comfort than I can ever describe. You, Dr. Griffin, are our bunny. You've been the bunny to the whole community, and we love you, and we look forward to what's next for you, and we look forward to what's next for us as well. God bless, we're here for you, and I'm coming at you for the years that you came at me to volunteer. Just a little heads up.
Good morning, everyone. I have the honor to serve as a city commissioner for the great city of Lake Mary. I'm a native of Seminole County. I was born in Orlando, and my house used to be right over there before the city bought it and bulldozed it to the ground. But I lived right over there. And I walked down my street, West Lake Mary Avenue, to the bus stop. And I went to Seminole High School for 4 wonderful years after spending, I think I was in the Seminole County Public Schools, 1997 to 2002. So a long while. And I think you all agree with me, it is the greatest school district in Florida and in America. I had the pleasure of meeting Walt Griffin while a student at Seminole High School. Go Sanford Seminoles. It's an important qualifier for my Gators in the audience because I can't just say go Noles, right? Exactly. I was excited to have this opportunity to honor Dr. Griffin. He was such a dynamic force at Seminole High School. He infused the school with his positivity and his energy, which is his trademark. And he made it a more joyful environment to learn and play and to set the courses of our future. Trying to find a suitable passage from a literary work for this morning was challenging. Being a new dad, 7-month-old, I have this book handy, Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. And like the young protagonist of the book, when Dr. Griffin came to Seminole High School, he had gone to where the wild things are. I'm not sure if he yelled like the boy, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick. But like the protagonist, he was made the king of all wild things, although we called him principal as a term of endearment. You knew that was endearment. But after a career he may or may not describe as a wild rumpus, although we called him, wild rumpus with the wild things, he has now decided to set the crown aside and move on from where the wild things are. And even though the wild things have begged him not to, he has persisted and is setting his course home to rest up for his next adventure. Here today, like the wild things, we lament that you are setting off on your next adventure. But we thank you, I thank you, for your contribution to the education of students in Seminole County. And because of your leadership and because of your dynamism, countless students have all they need to set off on their own adventures. So thank you, Dr. Griffin. God bless. And words fail me. You were an important part of my life, and I'm so glad that I met you. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Ron Devoe, and I'm President and CEO of Wharton Smith. And although we've built a lot of schools for Seminole County, my interactions with Walt have really been on community task force and issues, from high school interns and career fairs all the way up to dealing with the homelessness problem in Seminole County. And when I was asked to say a few words about, good words about Walt, that was easy. Now, coming up with my favorite children's book, my youngest is 30 and I have no grandchildren. So that was a little more difficult. And I came up with one, and it kind of ties into Walt and what I want to speak about. But it's Dr. Seuss and it's the Sneetches. And let me read a passage here. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big. They were really so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all those star-belly Sneetches would brag, we're the best kind of Sneetches on the beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain belly sort. And whatever they met when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. You know, in this politically charged world we live in today, people make decisions based on left, right, Republican, Democrat. Walt's strength was he never did that. He had to deal with a lot of politically charged issues, but he always made decisions based on what's best for our students and our kids. And that was his strength. And I know that he had to deal with whether kids should go to school during COVID. He had to deal with over-testing of students. And I've heard his opinion on that. And I know that was always, that opinion and his decisions in those areas were always based on what's best for the students. Again, that was his ultimate strength. Now, one of the issues that's out in our community that is really important to me as a contractor is because there's a lot of opportunity out there in the trades. But for years, our schools did not push that. They pushed academics only and were graded by kids going to college, right? Well, one of Walt's best initiatives was that he brought that into the high schools and realized not everybody's going to go to college. Not everybody should go to college, right? And pile up a big debt. So there's going to be kids coming out of high school that need to be ready to have a meaningful and rewarding career. And Walt made sure whether that was in the trades, whether that was in IT, whether that was in manufacturing and the other areas that he brought into our high schools. That is going to be your legacy, Walt, in my mind. So congratulations, and thank you for always putting our kids, our students, our grandkids first. Congratulations, and enjoy your retirement.
Used to these things, but good morning. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sharon Arroyo. I'm the Vice President of Government and Community Relations for Duke Energy, and I also serve on the board for the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools. So I first met Walt in 1997 when my husband and I and our twin boys, who were in first grade, moved to Oviedo, and they went to Parton Elementary and met Ben Griffin, who is our neighbor. So at the time, Walt was assistant principal at Lakeview, and when our three boys got middle school age, he convinced us to take a tour of Millennium. So we were hooked, at that bright, beautiful new school and the fact that Walt was the principal. So they went to Millennium Middle School and then on to Seminole High School. Had the pleasure of having Walt as their principal for their whole middle and high school career. So I brought with me today Charlotte's Web. It's a familiar tale, I'm sure, but it really spoke to me as to what Walt has meant to this community. So let me read you a passage. "Why did you all do this for me?" Wilbur asked. "I don't deserve it. I've never done anything for you." "You've been my friend," replied Charlotte. "That in itself is a tremendous thing. I wove my webs for you because I liked you. After all, what's a life anyway? We're born, we live a little while, we die. By helping you, perhaps I was trying to lift up my life a trifle. Heaven knows anyone's life can stand a little of that." So, as we know, Charlotte was an articulate and a selfless and a very wise spider who helped and befriended Wilbur. And I feel like that is what you've done, Walt, for this whole community. You've been a mentor, a superintendent, a boss, a neighbor, and a friend. And we will terribly miss you and the legacy you leave on our community. And I'm not going to say that Dr. Seuss is canceled this week. And I leave you with this. Today you're you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Walt, we thank you for being you.
Hello, good morning. I'm Darius Warren, owner of Warren Heating and Air Conditioning. Dr. Griffin has been my mentor for the last 20 years. He started as my principal in middle school and high school, and we've just been close ever since. I'm going to be reading from Becoming Muhammad Ali. "We were all just kids doing dumb stuff that kids do, but Ali was different. With those big eyes, some pictures show, with those big eyes, some pictures show that the rest of us couldn't quite see. We all dreamed about the future, but Ali really truly saw it, like a movie he was starring in, and he always did things his way. I remember when I first started my career, you gave me my first job, and we were sitting in your office, and you was telling me about how your career started and, your love for teaching and the value of hard work. And I just remember looking around the room, observing all the awards and accomplishments, and the feeling I got, I was like, I felt like Ali, like I could finally see my future, and I could see a fulfilling and rewarding career. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, for all the hard work results that you showed me, all the conversations, all the opportunities, and just for simply believing in me. I just want to congratulate you on your retirement. I look forward to the future and what's in store for you, and I love you and thank you.
It's gotten much more complicated, public speaking. You got the mask, you got the cover for the microphone, you got everything going on. I'd like to thank the chamber this morning for, I think it's very fitting that we're talking about the retirement of a wonderful superintendent, but they give all of us assignments on what to bring and what to study and what to do. And, it's very, very fitting. So it's all about Walt and his service to the community. And I actually picked a book that's over 100 years old. So Ron, you probably could have used The Wizard of Oz as well, going back very deep. But when I was given the assignment from the chamber to look at a childhood book and influence, really put a lot of thought into that because Walt has meant so much to me, our agency, our community, and his leadership of, 7,000 employees and our most vulnerable investment, our kids. So I looked at the classic book by L. Frank Baum, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And I'm sure that everyone has had the opportunity by now to read this book or at least see the annual viewing of the movie. But when I go to the book here, the quote is, "How about my courage?" asked the lion anxiously. "You have plenty of courage, I am sure," answered the Oz. "All you need is confidence in yourself. There's no living thing that is not afraid when it faces danger. The true courage is in facing danger when you are afraid. The kind of courage that you have in you is plenty." So when I think about that quote, and I think about all the things that Walt has done over the years, he not only possessed the courage that the lion wanted, but also the brains that the scarecrow wanted, and probably most importantly to his altruism, the heart that the Tin Man wanted. I mean, he did this day in and day out. And I think that when I reflect back on that book and that movie, you know, one of the disappointing parts as a young child is when they pulled back the curtain, you saw that Oz was not the great and wonderful Oz. It was just another man pulling the strings and the levers and making himself look like something that he wasn't. But you don't get that with Walt. When you pull back the curtain, you see exactly what you see up front: the altruism, the sense of giving back, the remarkable leadership, one that we have been so blessed here in Seminole County to capitalize on. Back in 2016, we entered into this unique relationship with Walt that was the first of its kind, I believe, anywhere. I at least know it was the first of its kind here in the state of Florida, where he had agreed to replace his school safety director with a sheriff's captain, Captain Rick Francis, who we've been incredibly proud of over the past 6 years, who has worked side by side and have become more than just colleagues with Walt and our board members, but close friends. Rick has moved on to take on another assignment, and we've moved somebody else into that role, Tracy Fortenberry, who also has 30 plus years of work in our community, and the majority of that working with kids. But in a very critical time where there were school shootings and demonstrations and all of that, he demonstrated the courage to step forward and say things that people needed to hear, like our school teachers were not going to carry guns in schools, that we thought that the most sophisticated approach was to make sure that every campus had a dedicated, professionally trained law enforcement officer, years before it was ever a requirement. His vision, his knowledge, his skills, his passion, his compassion is all what has made our community so wonderful. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, not as sheriff, but as a dad of two small boys that attend Seminole County Public Schools. I could not be prouder of our relationship, the men and women that choose to teach class every single day, that work on campus, our board members. We have really, really something special here. And I promise you that we will do all that we can to make sure that we maintain and sustain all of the things that you've worked your entire career to accomplish. Congratulations on your retirement. I know that we'll stay connected. I understand you're going to be here locally. And, you know, if Andrea can't convince you to come back and volunteer, maybe I can make you an honorary deputy or something like that, and we can, you know, keep things going. But God bless you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Griffin, all the books that are coming from the room today are going to be donated to the Seminole County Public School Library in your name. And as many of the people that came up here today said you inspired them, we hope these books inspire children in the future.
think the new superintendent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you. Again, every time it's ready. Thank you. Thanks for everything, Sean. You're the best. Thank you. So 21 years ago. Thank you. Good to sound like I'm going to make your hair. Another student. Thank you. Thank you. Board members? Thank you. Thank you. The best thing going to take me through. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Awesome. Oh, there you go. It's all right, so look, I mean, it's all right, so look, thank you for teaching for us. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to need a truck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Griffin. There's a few more. Dr. Griffin, please come on up. Guys, can you please join me in thanking Dr. Griffin? Thank you.
We should start every day like this. I have to tell you, I was a little nervous what the sheriff was going to read. I thought maybe it was the driver's handbook because he knows I like to drive a little fast. I have a lot of appointments to get to, but I'll slow down. I just want to sum this up. This is not about me. I work for all of you, and I have been part of awesome teams for 40 years. Fantastic school boards, fantastic team members, but let's not forget the fantastic teachers, what they do day in and day out for our students, because without them, I would not even have a name. And our great principals who lead them, and this great community and the great community leaders who make Seminole County what it is. I had the opportunity to look back at my interview in 2012, and board members, I think I did what I told you I would do. And that's all I can say is that we tried really, really hard because you told me we needed career technical vocational education, that we needed e-pathways and opportunities for students, and we've done that. And I'm going to keep it very simple. The goal of ours for the past 10 years, SRA, safety always first, whether that's school safety regarding to violence and shootings or COVID. Next, relationships, and then achievement. If you have safety, you have relationships, you can soar as we have. You know, we were just named once again the #1 STEM district in the state of Florida, and the headline said, and no one was even close this year. So just fantastic work. So very quickly, I have a few school board members here, stand-up board members. I want to thank you publicly because without a good board, you're nothing. Come on, come on. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And I have a few team members here also. Please stand up. Let's see Demetria, Jean Van Smith, Roderick. Thank you. And please stay standing. My replacement is Serena Beeman, and she is here today. And I want to just brag on her a little bit. She's going to die because she's not going to like this. But I want to tell you, she's been at my side for 9 years, making the sausage behind the scenes. She understands this business inside, out, and backwards. And there is nobody else I would rather pass this baton to because she's going to take the work that we've done as a team and take it to the next level. So this county is honored and blessed to have a leader like you taking my place. So it's really the very best of luck to you. All right. And thank you, everybody. And I hope everybody going back to ESC, please take a few books with you. I'm going to need some help. All right. Thanks, everybody.
When we secretly made the call for the books, I did not expect quite the response. You all are amazing. Thank you for helping inspire our children in the future. My script has disappeared. If you're not a member of the chamber yet, please see Christina before leaving. See her quickly because her voice is quickly disappearing. And before I do the door prize, I'm going to do just a few quick announcements. We have a chamber crush at Top Golf next Tuesday. So if you are in the area, come pop by. Our after hours at the Celeste Hotel is next Thursday, and it is almost at capacity, so sign up quickly. Our professional women's luncheon is on the 25th. And all council events, just a reminder, are still registration required because of restrictions. So please make sure to register early. Thank you to our sponsors, Top Golf, Next Horizon, J. Wayne Miller Company, Sanford Orlando Kennel Club, Waste Pro, and the Orlando Law Group for your sponsorship and support. Thank you to Lewis for our AV. Thank you to Jerry for photography always. Thank you to Lake Mary Event Center for hosting us. And thank you, who's this from? From McLean Pierce and Associates for a $25 Chianti's gift card. And the winner is Karen Williams. Karen, where are you? Are you here still? Oh no, okay. Going once, going twice. All right, JC Soto, you are the winner. Have a wonderful Seminole County day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.